What's going on, Read My Lips people? We are back. Back like we ain't never left, baby. So, what a VP debate we just had. Now, let me just first start off by saying I had an incredible post-debate conversation with Tom and a whole bunch of influencers and brilliant political peers, and there's actually a link for that below. There's actually a link also in my interviews I've done with section. So if you go on my homepage for Read My Lips and you scroll down, one of the playlists I have is interviews I've done with people. And if you go on there, you'll find interviews I've done with Paget, interviews I've done with Boyce from Mindful Skeptics, interviews I've done with Russell from Grassroots Yang Gang, Progressive Voice, a whole bunch of people. So Tom. So that's going to be there. Check that out. It was about an hour and a half talk, and it was incredible. We had a special guest appearance by Erica, and it was interesting hearing everybody's point of view. However, that segment, we only had so much time in. So I felt everybody didn't get to say everything they wanted to entirely since we were strapped for time. Again, it already went an hour and a half, and I think we were only scheduled to do an hour or something along those lines. So we already went over and didn't get to say everything we wanted. So what I'm going to do today is pretty much give my breakdown for the Kamala Harris, Mike Pence debate. And I'm just going to touch upon some of the subjects they spoke on. Nothing too crazy, nothing elaborate. So things I found interesting, points that happened in the debate that people might have overlooked, or things that stood out. So one of the things that stood out to me, and I think everybody that was paying attention to Pence saw this. The audience during the debate, they have to stay quiet, right? So they have to hold everything inside. I think there would have been a reaction from the audience had it been our normal kind of debate. Was Pence started off pretty hot. Cool, calm, and collective, but hot in the sense that he got Joe Biden on his plagiarism. So what Pence said verbatim is, the reality is, when you look at Biden's plan, it reads an awful lot like what President Trump and I ask our task force have been doing every step of the way. And quite frankly, when I look at their plan, it talks about advancing testing, creating new PPE, developing the vaccine. It looks a bit like plagiarism, which is something Joe Biden knows a little about. So that was a shot. That's why I said he came off hot. He came off hot. Touched, got burnt. He came off a little hot. But that is because Joe Biden does have an instance back in the day of accused plagiarism. So what Pence is alluding to is Biden he's been accused of using aspects from speeches of other politicians. In 1987, the New York Times reported that Biden had used parts of a speech by British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock during a debate without attributing the proper credits to him. Allegations surfaced in 1987 that Biden had plagiarized parts of a 1965 paper he wrote while in the Syracuse University Law School. Biden held a press conference at the time admitting to these accusations. And so, he fully embraced this. I got to give the man props. He admitted, yeah, I plagiarized. And so Pence took a shot there. So people that are knowledgeable about that aspect of Biden's life kind of hit it with they kind of did the yuck face. If you're a Susan everybody and a Johnny know nothing, you might be like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? He didn't plagiarize. Right? Because people may not know that about Biden. Kamala Harris spoke on how Trump and pretty much his regime knew that coronavirus was active and what it was potentially about to do. I think she quoted January 28th, and that they kind of did nothing about it, that they were really lackadaisical in doing anything about it, which is something I spoke on too. We dropped the ball. Trump says China, 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 right? And they got to take their credit as well. But on our end, we were really lackadaisical, and we did not handle business how we should have, if we're being completely honest. And so she hammered that January 28th number out there. I think she threw it out there 3 or 4 times. And that was smart of her because coronavirus is obviously something that's affected a ton of people. She also hammered on how, she would take a vaccine, but if it was, Trump and his administration saying to take this vaccine, that she wouldn't. But if it was Dr. Fauci and all the professionals saying that this was a vaccine to take, that she would, which offended Pence. He took offense to that. I'm a bit with Kamala on this instance. Now this is an interesting debate for me because I started my channel. The very first video I did actually was about Kamala Harris. Okay, and it was not positive. I've done 3 or 4 videos. And this is her during the primary when she was running, and I was very critical of her because facts over feelings. And obviously, Mike Pence is a robot. I'm not a Pence fan either. So really, I have no bias towards either one of them. So I could really take everything for what it was, and it was really interesting. Seeing them go at it, the different dynamics of their characters, and how that meshed on stage, it was quite interesting. Both really good politicians. Pence himself is a good politician, and Kamala Harris has been developing into a good politician. You can see it. You can see the stark differences between her now and when she ran in the primary. It was good to see, nice to see, interesting to see. They spoke on something else I spoke about, which was Joe Biden would be the oldest president being inaugurated at 78 years old. And I see a bunch of my Yang Gang peers talk about this. Like, I'm tired of these old-ass mofos becoming the president. That's one of the critiques the Yang Gang gave Bernie Sanders. Like, yo, you old. Even though he can't help that he's old, but they were saying that he's old. At least his ideas weren't chocked full of corporatocracy and bending the knee to the corporate donors. But I get it. And we want to see more youthful, vibrant, and different looking people going for these offices, the highest offices there are. And so, yeah, Joe Biden, who's in, I believe, a cognitive decline, whose brain is melting, would be the oldest president being inaugurated in American history, which is quite interesting. Kamala did say something that her and Joe were raised in a similar way. Huh? I believe it was the exact opposite. I mean, all I know is the information that's out there about you, Kamala, and the information that's out there about Joe. But I don't see any similarities in how you're raised. But again, you know him much more personally than I do. But from the info that I have about you guys, you weren't raised similar. You aren't similar in many, many, many aspects. And that was one of the things you were hammering home during the primary. Remember, I was that girl. I was that little girl. Let's not forget how quickly we forget. There's stark differences between you guys, but she slipped that in there, which was a red flag for me. I didn't like that. Another thing that, it was a quick tidbit in there, but I like, and it's something that I speak on as well, is Pence called and congratulated Kamala Harris on her getting VP. They mentioned something about he called her when he spoke on the phone and things along those lines. So let me be clear. These people, though they're going at each other's heads, though it's red versus blue, though it's a big club and we ain't in it, they do talk to each other. It's not, they are in a competition. They're competing with each other. But I don't think they genuinely hate each other. Maybe some of them do. But for the most part, they don't hate each other. And for Pence to call her and robotically congratulate her, it probably was along the lines of, Congratulations, Kamala. I found that interesting, and I want to give kudos for that. Hell, he probably wanted to fly out and congratulate her. Kamala Harris did speak on the taxes, the $750 taxes, and that Trump is in debt $450 million, and, who does he owe? And whoever he owes could potentially be influencing the president of the United States. And that we want transparency. The American people deserves transparency. I think that was a great subject she spoke on. She didn't hammer it enough, Again, they have 2-minute slots to get everything out, which isn't enough time at all, if we're being honest. But she spoke about that. I don't know how much it resonated, but I do know for a while it dominated the headlines. I've kind of saw it slipping, but she threw that out there, and that was smart of her to do. Pence mentioned she co-sponsored the Green New Deal, which Joe Biden himself was in denial of. He said he's not for the Green New Deal. Joe Biden, when it comes to things like Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, in my opinion, universal basic income, when it comes to big plans like that, huge plans like that, plans that some people may look at as social, even though UBI isn't necessarily socialism, right? But when it comes to certain things like that, I feel like he hates that shit. Like, it's kryptonite. He was vehemently against Medicare for all, and he quickly dismissed the Green New Deal. That was how politicians pivot? He pivoted the fuck out of that. He was like, nope, I'm not doing the Green New Deal. I'm doing the Joe plan, whatever that means. And Kamala Harris is one of the co-founders of the Green New Deal, so she was put in a tough spot when Pence called her out on it, because your boss, your potential president, saying he's not for the Green New Deal. You're saying you're for the Green New Deal. So what is it? What's it going to be? Transparency, right? She got him on getting rid of the disease experts, kicked him out of the White House. The Trump administration absolutely did that. Pence and Trump got rid of the disease experts. And then ironically enough, COVID-19 hits, which made them look super incompetent. And then about fracking, right? So Pence got her on banning fracking. She said over and over again, strongly, that she would not ban fracking. But she is on video saying she will absolutely ban fracking. So he got her there. If somebody, the Johnny Know Nothing or the Susan Everybody was at their computer and they looked it up, they would see her talking about banning fracking. So she made herself look like a liar, right? Her only get out, or only escape from that is if the people watching at home don't look that up. But us, that's knee-deep into politics, probably you watching this right now, know that she was for banning fracking. Literally live and on air. So he got her with that. How many people followed through with it to see if it's the truth? Who knows? He hit her with a low blow, right? And he spoke about the young lady Kayla, and that she would be alive if Trump was POTUS because Biden hesitated. Now that was a tough spot for her, because she can't get too aggressive on that. And I mean I'm saying low blows, but they're just serious blows. Let's call it that, serious blows. There was not much she can do to dodge that. That was a moment that stuck out to me. But she shot back with the John McCain scenario, that Trump made fun of John McCain and called him not a hero. When clearly John McCain was a hero, at least in the instance of him sticking up for his friends and, obviously the torture and what have you. So I don't know if it evened out. I don't know if that evened it out. But for our president to call somebody who served our military and did that not a hero, it can make you look at him differently, in a sense of, how do you feel about our current military? You can't say, oh, I love our military, and then et cetera, but then call one of the war heroes not a hero because of your personal vendetta against him. She got him on the new young lady that's coming into the Supreme Court about her potentially wanting to overturn Roe v. Wade and attacking abortion. Look, I'm just going to say this one time again, and I don't know how much more serious I can say this. I don't want your religion anywhere near my fucking politics. I don't want you governing based on your religious beliefs. Period. In any way, shape, or form. Church and state should be separate. Like her coming into the Supreme Court and be like, well, I'm a Christian, and this is what I... No. What's the science say? We need to know what the science is. I don't want your religion affecting my politics. I don't want it affecting how I have to operate in my everyday. I don't want it affecting how women have to operate in their day. I don't want your religion to now make Sarah over there, right, not able to get an abortion after she was raped by an intruder at her house. Your religion should not affect Sarah. Your religion should only affect you. And you go do what you do with your religion and you pray to whatever God you see fit. But you keep it away from the politics. Your religion should not be affecting the policies affecting everybody else. That's just how I feel. Everybody can do whatever religion they want. There's 5,000 of them. There's 5,000 religions. Do whatever you want. I don't want it affecting my politics. And that's essentially what's going to happen. And that was Pence's defense. When you're talking about pro-life. They're pro-life until the kid actually gets here. And they don't give a fuck about the kid after that. Keep your religion. You do what you do for your religion. For yourself. Don't have it influence like everybody else. It's weird to me. Nobody's attacking your Christian faith. And then he lied. He lied about taxes funding abortions and stuff like that. Just blatant lies. That is not factual in any way, shape, or form. That's something the Republicans have been on a long time. Like in your really in your personal life. Like they've been really like they get all up in your bedroom. It's weird. I don't like that shit. Like you need to take a couple steps back. You in my bedroom, I don't even think you should be in my house. Like, calm the fuck down. She got him with the Lincoln story about letting people choose, right, and letting people have a vote. I think that I didn't see that coming. I think that was a great move on her part. Now she didn't answer the question about packing the house, but. You know, that was a dodge, and I get why she did it. But that story about Lincoln was great. He rubbed it off. He shrugged it off. But I liked it. I think a lot of the people at home dug that too. But yeah, she did dodge the question about packing the court. I said the house earlier, packing the court. Pence said something about Joe Biden raising taxes on day one. She's saying that's not going to happen. I don't think he's going to raise taxes on day one. I just don't see that happening. So she denied that. I believe she said if you make $100K a year, $400K a year, that your taxes will not be raised. And then she denied banning fracking, but she's on the record for saying she was for it. So not that anybody can't change their mind. She could say, I thought that at one point, and I'm no longer for that. Just say that. If not, you look like a liar. She did. I think one of the key points she did was that they're coming for you because Trump from the beginning has been trying to gut Obamacare, and he has no viable plan of his own. It's kind of sick, actually, and that's gonna, with people with pre-existing conditions, are gonna be screwed. Healthcare has been a huge talk this whole election period. So I think that was a key point for her that she pointed out, and that she looked directly into the camera and said, they're coming for you. Little fear mongering there, but it's true. He's been trying to gut Obamacare since day one. They spoke about climate change, how she wants to get back into the Paris Climate Agreement. Obviously, Pence isn't for it, but I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. The Dems are very pro fixing climate change, and Pence and the Republicans are not so much. And so, yeah, I'll finish this off. They spoke on Breonna Taylor a little bit, that Pence had no decent answer to, no satisfactory answer to. And Kamala spoke on that justice was not done. And then she said, she did quote many times over, like, you're not going to talk to her about law and order. Now, Kamala Harris does not have the best record as far as being a prosecutor, with some of the things she's done, like keeping people incarcerated who were innocent longer than they should have, even based on paperwork, even though she knew they were innocent. So just let them sit there a little longer type shit. She eventually became pro body cam, but originally she was not. And yeah, it was like a weird subject, a weird gray area for me, because what she's saying is true. You're not going to talk to me about law and order, but her record on law and order, in my opinion, is not that great. And then Pence pretty much said he does not think law enforcement has a bias against minorities. I disagree. That's been something that's been happening forever, since the crack epidemic, right? And it's not just the Republicans that were a part of that. Let's just be clear. The Dems were in that camp too, and it was their mission to lock up African Americans. Let's just be clear. Let's just, like, if you're still in denial about that, then I don't know what to tell you. But he denies that there's a bias against minorities. I guess he wouldn't know. How could he know, right? How could he know? How could a robot possibly know? So yeah, it was, just some things I saw happen. It was a good debate, better than the last one. There was supposed to be a virtual debate with Donald Trump and Joe Biden, sleepy Uncle Joe, and actually there was going to be another panel, and I was going to be on that panel on andrewyang as well. But Trump is saying he doesn't want to do it, so let's see what happens now. Let's see if Trump goes through with it. Let's see if it falls off. Depending on what happens with that, there might be another panel debate. So what did you guys think? Who did you guys think won? I thought Kamala Harris won. The early polls showed Kamala Harris won. I think Pence had 36% or something like that. Kamala Harris took that. I knew she was. Because even though he was cool, calm, and collected, I felt like she was more relatable. She just seemed like a more sociable person and somebody you'd want in that seat. He was way too robotic, not enough emotion. You don't want them to have too much emotion. You don't want them to overt emotion at all times. You want them to be able to, be cool, calm, and collected when it's necessary. But he didn't show any. It was just maybe annoyance. She showed many emotions, but I don't think she had a choice because she had to keep everything inside from not ripping his head off. So yeah, I thought she won it, and yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. What did you think about the debate? What key points stood out to you? Did you get swayed? The whole 9 yards. Let me know what you think. I'm always eager to hear what you have to say. So if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please like, comment, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you don't, let me know in the comment section why. I'm always down to talk about it. I have a Cash App, a PayPal, and a Venmo. Links are in the description below. Please feel free to donate to the channel. Every little bit helps. Hopefully I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a good one. Peace.
Sometimes I'm feeling high, but sometimes I'm feeling low. I wanna stay inside, I could call my bed my home. I've been trapped inside my mind, that's what keeps me in the zone. I think that I'll be fine, but I do not really know, yeah. It's too late for me, not too late for you. To be great, you'll see, the pain's worth the truth. I don't wanna be just someone that's new. I speak my mind so free, so you could hear the truth. Yeah, I know that we all have fear. In the back of our minds we hear the devil that's in our ear. Let it push you to see more clear. I don't wanna think about the pain no more. Everybody's not the same, we all open different doors. Yeah, we've all got different brains, that's what keeps starting these wars. I just stay within my lane, hope my words even score. I just try to keep it real.